Hey everyone, Mike on Monday. So here's your agronomy update for the past week and weekend. Hope everyone had a great Memorial weekend. So those folks who use the streamer bar on the wheat, I've had lots of comments of wow, what a difference that made. So hopefully we'll be able to push that yield right to the end here. Now remember, we had some cold temps that are going to mess with us a little bit. Yes, even on the wheat. Plus we're going to jump into the high 80s and 90s, which isn't necessarily what we're looking for, this big up and down curve. But aside from that, wow, that streamer bar project certainly worked, and we've got a lot of things out as far as different rates and such that we're going to follow up with that yield. We'll let you know as we learn more on that. So the big talk is the cold temps that we just had here over the past number of days. Sean Conley, you can check out his posts from UW Extension. You know, he's recommending take 3 days, maybe a little bit more, to evaluate your crop before you start making any decisions. Here in front of me, you can see that we do have some damage from the frost, but it's more cosmetic than anything else at this time. If we lose the top buds or so, not a problem. We still got plenty of auxiliary buds for these plants to recover. But some of the pictures that I got to see over the weekend, some of these plants are dead, and now you'll have to make an assessment and a judgment call as to what you're going to do with those spots in the fields, or unless it's the whole field, etc. Most people are suggesting, and I agree with, that if you've got a stressed field and you need to be spraying, be very careful, because herbicides are stressful to the plant. That could be the last straw. So be careful, let those plants recover before you come with herbicide applications, would be my recommendation at all possible. You can also consider, once you're past that phase, that some fungicides do give us some help from that stress. So consider using maybe a fungicide in the tank with that herbicide that's coming. Then on the corn itself, we see it nipping leaves anywhere from just a little bit to maybe the whole plant looks like it's shot. But for the most part, with that, the heart of the plant, we'll call it, the growing point, is underground. So even though the top might look terrible, most of that will pull through and recover reasonably well. I'm not aware of that we got cold enough to kill corn itself. There might be a pocket, a low spot here or there that doesn't hold true, but as a general statement, we're probably okay on the corn. But again, it's under stress. If you don't need to spray that field, maybe find another field that isn't under as much stress, that you don't have to put a herbicide stress on top of it. Let it recover. Think about a fungicide. It might be something as simple as even putting a product called Chris that we handle in the tank. That seems to help. It's a stress mitigator material that seems to help plants get through more issues than not. So if you have questions on any of this, feel free to reach out to us at Country Visions. Speaking of fungicides, Kevin out of Malone was doing a bunch of work with fungicides on alfalfa, and I guess I'll just repeat his words. From this point forward, just do it for first crop. The amount of extra feed that we're getting off and the quality of that feed is just awesome. It pays for itself. It makes sense. I agree with Kevin. Just do it. And speaking of alfalfa, I mentioned this last time, weevils. Keep your eyes open for weevils. There's lots of weevils out and about. Cold slows them down. Heat picks them up. If you don't see areas of the field recovering within 4 days of that being harvested, get out there, look. You may need to be spraying. Another point that I'd like to bring to your attention, if you're starting to worry about some resistance, or if you have multiple species out there, you can tank mix more than one mode of action of an insecticide. So if you've got aphids as an example, and you've got weevils out there, using multiple modes of action kind of breaks up the cycle of what we maybe historically do. So that might help you with multiple species and or resistance that you might be bumping into. With the hot weather coming towards the end of the week, remember that currently you don't have a whole lot of cuticle on a lot of this plant. You've gone through mostly cool and damp the past week or so, so we haven't built up a lot of cuticle. Herbicides going on in the higher heat is going to give you a lot more phototoxicity, so that's burn. So be ready for that. Be careful of that, and just pick your battles on it. Most of the time it'll recover, but again, if you're going from this stress of burn to lack of cuticle, I hit it with a herbicide and the heat, you might be creating a recipe that you're not going to like the taste when you're done here. With that, enjoy the beautiful weather. I know we're going to get a lot more hay made this week, maybe with a little less rain, but with that, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.